Hello. For those of you that I didn't get to meet at open house, I'm Mrs. Shireman. I'm your child's teacher this year, and I am super excited about what I've gotten to know about our class so far and can't wait to see where this year leads us. I had a lot of things that I wanted to relay to you, but it was just too much to type and too much to read, so I thought I'd try out a video. Give me some feedback if you liked this or if you didn't, if it was easier for you or more difficult, and we can adjust. That's no problem. The first thing I wanted to address is just some weekly routines and things you should be expecting. Every Friday, you'll get a paper home that looks like this. And that sort of outlines our English and language arts topics for the next week coming up. You can see on this page that our next week's story is called Tops and Bottoms. It includes everything from our spelling words, our vocabulary, sight words, and just different skills that we're going to address. So a little bit more about what to expect with reading and spelling and things along that line. Your child will get the list on Friday before, and we will take our spelling tests on Thursday of the next week. So spelling words, we practice them in here, but I strongly encourage you that to be part of your nightly homework, going over spelling with your student, having them practice in different fun ways at home. Vocabulary will be on the Friday reading test. So Thursday will be our spelling test. On Friday, we will take our little bigger reading test, and vocabulary will be part of that. So the words listed on that sheet, the students will need to know the definition of them and how to use them just in a regular sentence to really show us that they know what it means. Don't worry about spelling those vocabulary words, they're a little bit larger, but just making sure they understand what they mean. Sight words, which you might look at as smaller words from earlier years, are words that your students should be able to read very quickly. They should know them immediately when they see them. Those are not tested for a grade. We test them just to make sure that your students are on track with their fluency and their sight word recognition. We do keep track of that, but it's nothing that goes in the grade book. But that's something else that you can practice nightly just to make sure that we're staying up on those words they might not see as often, or they do see and they frequently miss. Then we get to the skill section of this page for our reading test, and that's the most important. We do have a story, like I showed you. This one is Tops and Bottoms for next week is the title, but the test is not on that story. Rather, it's on the skill that's outlined on this page. We really want your students to be able to apply that skill to anything they read. In real life, you don't study something for a whole week and then you're tested on that story. We're tested on something we're given, or we look at something we're given, and we need to be able to apply those skills to anything that we read. So, for example, next week our skill is literary elements. And that's just identifying things like characters and setting and plot, just those general outlines, recognizing what's in the story, and also characterization. So that's what the author does to sort of help us paint a picture of those characters in our brains. Now, these two things are not going to be mastered in a week. They will spiral back around. You'll see these same things come up again in later stories as we dig into more deeper texts and just really start to polish off our skills. So please do not expect your child to be able to read any text and zip right through those things. It's not expected. This is just the beginning. But we will revisit them as things get more difficult, and we just make sure that we constantly keep them in the forefront of their brain. So those skills will be applied to our Friday test. So our Friday test, they will have a fresh article to read that they've never seen before. They'll have questions that go along with it, and they will have vocabulary on that test as well. Okay, so again, Thursday is our spelling test, and Friday will be our bigger reading test. I hope that covers most of your questions about our English language arts portion of the day, and then we'll get into math. Okay, for math, typically we cover several topics during the course of a unit, and we have several weeks to cover that unit. So we introduce the topics, and then we continue to work on them in our small group guided instruction. until we're ready to assess. And for this first unit, we have 4 different topics we're going to be working on. Let me flip my camera around here for you. And I listed them here in purple, and then above them you see what the Common Core standard number that correlates with that, in case you wanted to look it up. Telling time to the nearest minute, that just means looking at a clock and being able to tell me what time it is. Adding and subtracting, I should have added adding and subtracting larger numbers, 2-digit numbers, 3-digit numbers. Rounding to the nearest 10 and 100. And then multiple step word problems, which means you're reading a problem where you might have to add and then subtract, or you might have to add and then multiply, where you're doing 2 different operations to solve a problem. Our assessment on these 4 topics will be at the end of September, right around September 27th, I believe is that Friday. If we're ready. I'm not going to throw a test at them just because that day came. I'm going to make sure that they're properly prepared and feel comfortable with these topics. So that's the plan for math. Then we'll move on to Unit 2. The way we cover math is district-wide. So every class, every 3rd grade class is covering these same topics during the same time frame. We also like to share ideas with each other and everything like that. If you ever want to come in for math or reading blocks, please let me know. We can always use the extra help, the extra hands, and just making sure that all of our students are getting that individualized instruction, even from a parent, is wonderful. So please let me know. You're always welcome to come in here. I will get more into science and social studies later, but right now we're really going to focus on getting reading and math started. We're just getting the ball rolling here. I don't want to throw too much at you at once. So thanks for watching. Please let me know if this was helpful, and I'm looking forward to this school year. Have a great day.